2 years. It took me 2 years to finish this roll of 35mm film. To most, it might seem ridiculous, but for me, overthinking everything, and in this instance every frame, is pretty normal occurrence. Don't get me wrong, I took my camera with me to a lot of places during this time, but I tend to overthink the shot to the point I don't take it at all. This stretched the film over weeks, months, and eventually years. 2 to be exact. But when I finally finished it, it was like rediscovering old memories I had forgotten about. But before I show you the shots I actually captured on this film, let's go back in time and see how I got here. Throughout my life, I have had a soft spot for photography, both digital and analog. I have practiced digital photography for quite some time. My two favorite genres are macro and landscape photography. I have dabbled with analog photography before, and it is definitely a different ballgame. I have successfully finished about 3 rolls of film in my lifetime. In efforts to document my life in tangible ways, my aim is to increase this number, which brings me to the current situation. I recently have been taking more action in getting stuff done, especially in my creative life, which also meant it is time to finish this very stretched roll of film. Okay, let's do it. The film in question is Ilford FP4 Plus 125 ISO. This is my first black and white film, and as it is a cheaper film on a spectrum of 35mm films, I thought this was a good way for me not to feel too much pressure if I mess up the frames. But it turned out not to be the case. Because of the limited amount of shots, I really wanted every frame to count. This limiting condition, paired with my absolutely irrational fear of completion, created a perfect storm for it to take 2 years to finish this roll of film. My fear of completion applies to many creative projects of mine. I fear to finish pretty much anything. This includes a Blender project, a sketchbook, a video, and why would roll of film be an exception? But shooting a roll was just a half of the challenge. To have it actually developed, scanned, and nicest shots to be printed was another half of the challenge. This is where the fear of completion kicked into the next gear. What if it is all out of focus? What if it is underexposed and is super dark? What if it's just straight up blank because the back of the camera did open once in these 2 years? All these questions and more definitely passed my head. I have been on a mission to beat my completion anxiety, and I finally just did it. I sent this roll of film to Analog Wonderland for development. Now that I have told you the story of this film, it is time to see the results. While I show you my favorite shots of this film, I want to talk about completion anxiety. As I mentioned before, I have a fear of completing my creative projects. Completion anxiety is another form of procrastination. You are able to start a project, but it is very difficult to finish it. There can be multiple different reasons for it, like fear of judgment, too high of expectations of the end result, and fear of ending fun. Interestingly, I would say, I fall into second and third category. I always fear the end of project, finishing sketchbook and realizing that not every page was filled properly. Is the work in the sketchbook worthwhile, or are they meaningless scribbles? In this process, I realized that I have to get comfortable with the idea that not every page, every video, or every film frame will be worthwhile. It is a process of practice with no end goal, but in between the bad practice shots, there will be occasional gems sprinkled here and there. But by not creating at all, there is no opportunity for gems to appear at all. I have to say, the end result of the film has exceeded my expectations, and it also has inspired me to capture more. And in fact, I already have ordered some more rolls to capture the next adventure. This roll of film definitely has been a massive journey for me over last 2 years. And I am really happy and kind of relieved as well that it has turned out better than I expected, because there have been times beforehand where I have taken a roll of film and none of the photos were actually in focus, and it's definitely a user error that I had. The most special shots from this film definitely have been the day of slacklining with my partner and my friends in Greenwich Park. I am just so elated that I have these shots. This memory now is captured in such a nice way, rather than being a photo on my camera feed on my phone and it's just disappearing somewhere in the sea of the photos that I take pretty much every day. I will definitely be sending the printed versions of these shots to my friends as well, because they were part of this memory. And I think like the sentiment of this photo definitely outweighs the price. I want to say a massive thank you to Analog Wonderland for development of this film, and in fact this whole journey of this film has inspired me and motivated me to do more capturing on a film. And in fact this whole journey of this roll of film over the last 2 years has inspired me to capture more. So I have got 2 fresh rolls of film which will go with me to my next adventure, and most importantly, there will be memories that are worthwhile capturing, even if they are out of focus. We all know those people that are saving the room for special. Live special every day. This is it. Jimmy Carr.